What does it mean to lead with love? Not with grand speeches, not from a throne of gold, but from the ground of service. Pope Francis never tried to be admired. He tried to be present in the muddy refugee camps, in silent hospital corridors, in simple gestures that whispered, "I see you." He didn't just talk about compassion, he walked it. From the Vatican to forgotten alleys, he carried a message the world was starting to forget. Let no one be invisible. This isn't just a story about a pope. It's a mirror, a reflection of what we could be when we choose mercy over might. These 4 moments aren't just history. They might just change how you walk, starting today. Let's begin. In July 2013, the world expected a grand first trip from the newly elected pope, a royal visit, a celebration, a stage. But Pope Francis went to Lampedusa, a small Italian island, known not for beauty but for tragedy, the resting place of broken boats, the graveyard of unnamed migrants. He stood where others wouldn't, on the edge of Europe's shame, surrounded by wreckage and silence. Then he asked just one question: who has wept for these lives? He didn't assign blame, he invited reflection. He didn't point outward, he pointed inward to our collective apathy. Because it's easy to look away from the news, from the grief, from the pain of strangers. But Pope Francis reminded us, behind every headline is a heartbeat. Behind every statistic is a soul. It wasn't about politics, it was about humanity, and the sacred act of noticing. That day, he threw a wreath into the sea. But it wasn't just a symbol of mourning. It was a call to remember, to feel, to cry. Because when we cry for the forgotten, we bring them back into the circle of love, and we begin to heal the world. Let that be your first lesson. In 2013, a simple question was asked: what does the new pope think about people who are gay? The world braced for doctrine, for judgment, for tradition. But Pope Francis looked at the world and said, "Who am I to judge?" It was 5 words, but they echoed across centuries of silence. Not because he rewrote the rules, but because he reopened hearts. For him, compassion isn't a footnote, it's the headline. It's not something to sprinkle on top of belief. It's the very core of it. In the years that followed, he allowed blessings for same-sex couples. He welcomed transgender people to become godparents, not out of rebellion, but out of reverence for the dignity of every soul. He taught us something profound. Love is not earned, it is given. Judgment divides, but compassion heals. And sometimes the most radical thing you can do is to include the ones the world leaves out. Not just tolerate them, but bless them, walk with them, call them family. Because compassion isn't weakness, it's courage in its purest form. That's your second lesson. Have you ever felt stuck, like you were waiting for permission to move? Pope Francis once said to young people, "Don't be parked cars, dream freely, take risks." He believes fear is not safety, it's a cage. And playing small, that doesn't protect your life, it shrinks it. So what does courage look like to him? It's not a roar, it's a step, a stumble forward, an imperfect try. Pope Francis doesn't celebrate perfection, he celebrates motion. He honors the fall when it means you dared to walk. Because dreams aren't built in safety zones, they live just beyond the edge of your comfort. So he challenges us to get out of neutral, to move even if the map is unclear, to trust that momentum creates direction. And when fear whispers, "What if you fail?" Courage answers, "What if you fly?" The journey ahead may be messy, but it is yours, and the only wrong step is not stepping at all. That's your third lesson. God never tires of forgiving. It is we who tire of asking. That's what Pope Francis said, and it changed how millions saw grace. In a world that keeps score, he invites us to a race. In a culture that says they don't deserve it, he whispers, "Neither do we," and yet love persists. To Pope Francis, forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength in motion. It takes more courage to embrace than to punish, more faith to let go than to hold on. He knows that pain is real, but so is mercy, and mercy heals. He often tells people, "You are never too lost to return, never too broken to be loved." So what do we do with our wounds, with our regrets, our guilt? We bring them to the altar, not of perfection, but of compassion. Because forgiveness is not a transaction, it's a transformation. A daily choice to rise, lighter, to look someone in the eyes and say, you can begin again. And maybe, just maybe, you start with yourself. Forgive the part of you still learning, still stumbling, still growing. That's your fourth lesson. These aren't just lessons, they're invitations. To cry when the world forgets, to love when judgment is easier, to move when fear tells you to stop, to forgive even the parts of yourself still healing. Pope Francis didn't offer formulas, he offered presence. Not rules, but reminders of what makes us whole. Because greatness isn't loud, it doesn't wear a crown. It kneels, it listens, it weeps with those in pain. The question is not, do you believe in him? The question is, do you believe in the love he stood for? If one of these lessons touched something in you, don't keep it quiet. Share it, not for likes, but for light. Someone, somewhere may need exactly this reminder, and you could be the one who delivers it. Let love be louder. Let presence speak. Let these lessons become your legacy. That's the journey Pope Francis invites us to walk. Will you?